What up and welcome in. Bucks Kings, our first broadcast game of the week. Some good news. We've got a matchup of two of the best teams in the NBA, the 28-win Bucks, the 27-win Kings. The bad news, we're going to be without Tyrese Alston as he's out with an injury, which has meant a huge workload for Parker Pollard, who's averaging 36.2 points per game with an increased usage rate over the last 5 games. We'll jump to him real quick, but the focus of this matchup is between two of the hottest teams in the NBA. The Kings have been much better since the return of both Pollard and Jason Sanders from injury. Tyrese Alston kind of kept them alive, and Tremont Waters is going to be filling in for him in the starting lineup. And for the Bucks, a huge leap from a team that kind of hung around as a 500 ball club. You know, they get into the play-in last season, but Dwayne Qualls has been so great for the Bucks throughout his career. But they tried and they failed to bring in big pieces to help him, right? They had Brandon Boston here for a second. That didn't pan out. Now they're bringing in Luka Doncic. It's another investment by this team as we see Tremont Waters and RJ Wallace do a little vintage Draymond Green, Steph Curry type of action. But it's a Bucks team that has gone all in for Qualls as he gets his scoring rolling. Now it's starting to pay off. They're currently the number 2 seed in the Eastern Conference, where the battle for number 1 is wide open, unlike it currently is in the Western Conference, where the Warriors have kind of run away from that. But it's the Pacers have kind of come back down to earth. The Bucks are involved in that. The Celtics have been red hot. Now, though, you've got 2 playmakers for the Bucks in Doncic and Qualls, and that's opened up Jules Petrus, who's having a really nice season. Meanwhile, let's talk Parker Pollard. He was in that 2029 class that saw Darius Dixon go number 1 overall to the Jazz. Deontay Dixon goes number 3 to the Warriors. Parker Pollard was a second-round pick by the Kings in that class, and he's a really talented guard, forward type of guy, 6'6", 225, capable of defending both guards and bigger wings. But the knock on him was just he was an inefficient scorer coming out of college. You didn't know what he was really going to give you. He was a streaky defender at times. And so the reason he fell was just because you didn't quite know what you were going to get out of him. And he has since risen to the occasion. This offseason, the Kings made that big move to go get Jason Sanders. They trade a lot of their pieces to get him. And ultimately, you were looking around that roster saying, who's going to be our number 2 as we end the first quarter? Parker Pollard has arrived as the number 3, next to Sanders, next to Tyrese Alston, who have both looked like MVPs at parts of the season. Here we see Dwayne Qualls burying a triple, an early deficit. The Kings rock out to a good defensive first quarter. Here's Qualls, though. That's what makes him so different, and that's the great piece of Jules Petrus. You have to respect Jules Petrus as a shooter. If you're a defensive big man and in that pick and roll action, as Jason Sanders gets one to go, keeping the lead at 11, it really opens up the opportunities for Qualls, for Doncic to get downhill and get rolling. You just really want to see Petrus as he drives to the rack, foul, gets it to go, gets it to a 10-point game. You'd like to see him become a little bit better rebounder, but other than that, Jules Petrus has been a really nice piece for this group. Here's Parker Pollard, pulls back for 3, gets it to go, making it back to a 15-point game. So also, of course, you see with the ball right there's Marcus Young Jr., the former top 5 pick, 5th overall in that 2029 class that Parker Pollard was in. We mentioned earlier, taken by Phoenix. Falling out for Marcus Young Jr. in Phoenix, and he's entered the league as an elite defender, and that's what he's really brought both here as we get first block, another block inside, a third block inside, turn it on the side is this Sacramento defense as we hit the half. But back to Marcus Young Jr., really good defender. Was he going to be a 3-point shooter as he stripes this one on cue? He's been a little bit better here in Milwaukee, where he hasn't been asked to be filling in for the shoes. And I think that was something that we talked about in the last broadcast with the Wolves and the Jazz, was that Sterling Weems kind of outstayed his welcome in Philadelphia. He was 3rd overall pick. He never really became a superstar, and you always had that kind of he was a franchise-changing piece hanging over him. I think there was a lot of that with Marcus Young Jr. as this triple by Dwayne Qualls makes it a 1-point game. Marcus Young Jr., 5th overall pick. He's supposed to be the running mate for Jacoby Cleaves, and never develops into that. So I think being in this more open system that he's not expected to be the 1, he's not expected to be the 2 even, and barely even expected to be the 3. He's able to be just who he is, which is a great wing defender. Big body that can defend most forwards, even bigger forwards. It's just a very nice piece as the Bucks don't look now up by 5 after trailing early on in this one, as Isaac Okoro finding the reigning defensive player of the year, R.J. Wallace. So he's got to try to build his case, and there's another 2 from Wallace. Great assist man is R.J. Wallace. Good facilitator out of the post as Udry gets that to go. We head to the fourth quarter. This has been a back-and-forth game. The Kings currently up by 2, 56-54. Here's Jason Sanders bottoming a 3. We're now in the fourth quarter, which means we're going both makes and misses. So D'Angelo Dyson, you wouldn't know that because we get back-to-back buckets. Here's Isaac Okoro. Wants that trend to continue. He does. And it's back to a 6-point lead. But first 3 quarters, of course, we go makes only. Now we're getting into a full basketball game. 6-point game here in the fourth quarter. Here's Isaac Okoro. He's fitting well, and Tremont Waters has been phenomenal in this basketball game, filling in for Alston. Qualls, though, gets open, bottoming a 3. This is on the verge of getting away from the Bucks, but they make it back in. Jason Sanders, we continue to get these makes. We are 2 minutes into the fourth, and we have not seen a miss. Still right there, although an offensive board from Dyson. Can't get it to go. Rebound for Sanders. Big moment, I think, here for the Kings. If they can survive a really good Bucks team, as Tremont Waters can't bear the step back over Luka, I think they have a legitimate case to be the second-best team in the Western Conference. We talked about it on the podcast. I thought they might be the best team in basketball right now, especially with the Warriors without Deontay Dixon. He'll miss their game against the Suns, which is coming up tomorrow. So the Kings have a shot as a 3 from Qualls gets us back to a 2-point game. I think this is maybe the best opportunity for the Kings in terms of a potential championship since the 2000 Western Conference Finals. Of course, the ill-fated loss. They up 3-2 on the Lakers. They miss it. I think this is the best opportunity they have to win an NBA championship since then, as R.J. Wallace gets rolling downhill. It's a deep squad. We're seeing today Watford really taking over. Here's Marcus Young Jr. striping another 3 to tie things up with 2:49 to play. Wallace going on Mario Zoric. Zoric is, if the Bucks ever decided to make a move, as that one does not fall, here is Luka Doncic rattling home a 3. Mario Zoric is a bit of a, almost like a Marc Gasol type of center. Stretch 5. He shoots it well from deep. Gasol probably a little bit better of a lot better of a defender. But Zoric is a really nice piece. Maybe Brook Lopez, although even Lopez would be a better comp on the defensive end. But a really good 3-point shooter for a team that likes to stretch the floor. A lot of shooters on this court for the Bucks as Jason Sanders gets it to go. Minute and a half. Here's Qualls, size advantage on Watford. Luka for the lead, rattling home another second 3-pointer here from Luka. Jason Sanders pulling up on the opposite end, back to a 1-point game. We're moving fast pace. Qualls step back 3, won't get it to go. R.J. Wallace pulls that one down. 1 minute, 1-point game. Pushing in transition. Parker Pollard relay. I don't even know what I said right there. Gets a bucket. Here's Petrus down 1. Can't take the lead back. Under 30 seconds here. 20 seconds to go. Sanders to Wallace. 3-point game. Kings on top. They're on the verge. Can the Bucks get something rolling? It's Petrus pulling up for 3 off the front rim. Zoric kick out Young for OT. Gets it to tie. 5 seconds. One last shot. Can't be Watford taking it good. Sanders on the ball now. He's going to pull up. He's going to miss it, and that's going to send us to OT. So the Bucks, battling a Milwaukee squad that is without Tyrese Alston, falls down early. They force overtime. We'll see how they can go from here. Luka Doncic, in age 35 season, has aged like a fine wine. I'm not sure if he's quite an all-star. Zoric wins the opening tip here for the Bucks, but I think there's a case to be made. He deserves to be one. Great assist man. Like we said, taking that offensive duties off of that man, Dwayne Qualls. But a big moment here for both the Kings and the Bucks. I don't know that you walk out of this game thinking one way or another as we're going to get an offensive call or offensive foul on Pollard. I don't think we walk out of this game saying, okay, the Bucks can definitely win a championship or the Kings can definitely. This has, I'm not going to call it an NBA Finals preview, though it's certainly possible for it, as the Kings can't get a second offensive bucket here. It's two teams that are well-positioned, both pretty deep. Bucks with D'Angelo Dyson as their best man off the bench. You've got Adrian Harper as the foul, R.J. Wallace to take the lead. Adrian Harper, who we've seen a little bit of, a great defensive big man. It's a nice combination for the Bucks. Zoric as a stretch big, Adrian Harper as a versatile switch defender. He can defend big men. He's only 6'9", but he can stretch down, defend wings. This almost feels as Parker Pollard lines up and buries a three. This is almost man, what else could we have gotten if Alston was healthy, as Luka wants to answer, and he does. This is one of the better games of the season, just shot for shot. And Sanders, that's 3 straight threes made to go up by 3 with under a minute to go. Just feel like this game could have been so much more entertaining than it already is. And this has been a doozy as Zoric misses the first. That's an ill-fated one as he'll try to get the second to go. And he'll get it. But Alston, when this team has been healthy, the Kings have just been phenomenal. You just look at all the wing defenders they've got between Pollard, Isaac Okoro at the 3, Jason Sanders, R.J. Wallace inside. Alston was leading the league in steals for a pretty hot minute. And now it's all kind of faded away as Luka halfway down from tying it at 90. Under a minute to go, chance to take a big lead. Watford left wide open, and he buries it. That feels like a dagger here with 45 seconds left. Although Qualls misses what should have been an easy layup, and a huge block inside from R.J. Wallace. We'll get a second look at that one. Great play. That is why R.J. Wallace is your defensive player of the year, and feels as if we're probably just going to get some fouls as the first one called there on Watford. He'll head to the free throw line, buries it, and we can call this one the Kings, barring something crazy here. We'll see what this one last shot gives us as Qualls going for the 2 off the back rim and out. Fouls will just be cosmetic, but the Kings are going to get a huge win at home against the Bucks. They take a big early lead and then hang on late without Tyrese Alston. Bit of a statement win for the Kings, showing off that depth. I think you get lucky with a huge Watford night. But hey, look, if you're Sacramento, you're going to take it, right? You're going to take a big win against a very good basketball team headed into the mid-months of January, the long part of the season. Kings are rolling, the Bucks, no slouch either. That's our final. Coming up next, it's the Golden State Warriors visiting the Phoenix Suns.